Yes, friends, what's going on? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. What's poppin', people? Welcome back to Chelsea News, the daily series here on the channel where I reflect on what's being said about Chelsea, giving you my opinion on it, more importantly asking for yours as always. Matt Law's read an article on Chelsea, Pochettino talking about his set-piece coach, what happened after a quiet transfer window, and some other insight there. And interestingly, perhaps worryingly, both Chelsea's multi-million pound midfield men, that's good alliteration, have deactivated their social media, or at least their X, formerly known as Twitter accounts. What's going on there? Anyway, welcome back to the channel. I thank you for joining me here today. Daily content here, of course, on Football Therapy. So thanks to everyone who comes and wants to hang out. You're welcome to subscribe if you enjoy the content. We're on the road to 180,000. I really need to check how close we are, because we're probably pretty darn close at the moment. But you, mate, you can be the difference maker simply by clicking subscribe, hitting the bell, and thank you for dropping a like on the video, mate. It means a lot. I really enjoy interacting with all you guys down in the comments. It's a great community here on Football Therapy, so well done you, man and woman. Anyway, let's get into it. Starting off with the curious case of the deleted social media accounts, both Enzo Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez have deleted their Twitter account / X account. Many people are speculating that this is due to Chelsea getting touched up 4-1 at the Liverpool game, but Chelsea have had loads of poor performances before. Oh god. I just said that like so fleetingly and had to deep like where we are at the moment. Like, yeah, but we're bad, so why now? Anyway, this is no laughing matter. If it is down to any form of targeted abuse, of course this kind of stuff is abhorrent. Twitter / X is a known cesspit of interactions and negative activity. I have long removed myself from that apocalyptic it's just horrible, isn't it? It just that cultivates the most like negative feelings and worst part about people, and it thrives when people are being aggressive and combative against each other and hateful. Yeah, it's a pretty terrible place. So, if they were going on it and, receiving abuse, then more power to them, man. Just get away from that platform. Instagram's generally better, I find. Hey, I'm active on Instagram every single day. If you want to follow yours truly, at FootballYannick on Instagram. I do live streams every day, actually, now, to chat to you guys. It's a really good way for me to get interactive with the followers and subscribers of Football Therapy. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any ideas of why both Enzo Fernandez and Enzo Caicedo deleted their Twitter accounts, deactivated. Maybe they were just like, well, this platform stinks now, we're not getting anything out of this. It might have been their social media team thinking, ever since Elon Musk's taken over, this is not the best platform, whatever, And it might have been like a business career move, just get off Twitter. Or, like I said, it may be something a little bit more cynical and nasty. I don't know, I'm just reacting to the situation here. So if you do know, or if you have an opinion on it, like always, I encourage you to comment about it down there, baby girl! The comment section, not my nether regions. Okay? Alright then, let's move on. Matt Law writes this: a window at odds with recent others gave Pochettino a chance to prioritise both long and short-term tactical tweaks. The biggest clue that Chelsea was set for a quiet transfer deadline day was that co-controlling owner Bedad Eghbali was conspicuous by his absence at the club's Cobham training ground on Thursday. Eghbali spent the final week of the summer transfer window camped at Cobham as Chelsea wrapped up late deals for Cole Palmer, and based himself at the training ground on the deadline day of last January, where of course the Blues set a new transfer record by signing the aforementioned Enzo Fernandez. But Chelsea had already decided they were not about to set a new transfer record for the third successive window this year, and Eghbali decided he was not needed to oversee Armando Broja's loan move to Fulham that could see a Stamford Bridge club earning up to £4 million. Broja was valued at £50 million by Chelsea, which no club was willing to pay in this January transfer window, and yet Fulham will only have to pay the striker's wages if he starts 60% of their remaining games. A good second half of the season at Craven Cottage will give the Blues a better chance of attracting bids closer to their asking price. Yeah, we reacted to the Broja deal yesterday. It's not about making money, it's about him regaining confidence, form, and, I know it's unsavoury, asset value. And it kind of makes sense, really. Chelsea spent 105 million quid on Fernandes 12 months ago, and 115 million pounds on Enzo Caicedo in the summer. Of course, we've just been speaking about these two guys. But decided before the January transfer window even opened that they were not going to activate Victor Osimhen's release clause, which is thought to be worth over 110 million pounds last month. Like most Premier League clubs, Chelsea need to pay careful attention to the profit and sustainability rules, but there also appears to be a recognition that mistakes were made last year, which the club simply cannot afford to keep repeating. Chelsea paid a premium to land both Fernandes and Mudryk, and of course Mudryk's deal is worth up to 88 million pounds, and while there remains a belief that both players will fulfill their potential, neither have yet justified their fee. There were players Chelsea could have taken similar gambles on this year, such as Victor Gyökeres, who has been prolific this season in Portugal, but only scored regularly in the Championship in England. He was never properly considered. Of course, we had interest in Aston Villa's young striker John Duran, and that was curtailed by an injury, and Chelsea can now reassess their targets closer to the summer, when they believe fees and wage demands will be more reasonable. Osimhen is likely to be among Chelsea's top targets in the summer, where the club may find his release clause more palatable if they can earn money on sales, while more strategic moves to enhance the productivity of the team are already being planned. Less than 24 hours after the January transfer window shut, head coach Mauricio Pochettino offered a glimpse into how the club are preparing for the summer market by looking at a potential set-piece coach. Chelsea have scored only 5 times from set pieces in the Premier League this season, which is 4 fewer times than Sunday's opponents Wolverhampton Wanderers, and 9 less than Arsenal, who have netted the most goals and corners from free kicks. Of course, Arsenal recruited a set-piece specialist from Man City to boost their numbers, but Pochettino insisted that Chelsea's modest return from free kicks and corners is a reflection of the club's squad rather than a coaching issue. Pochettino says this: "We work a lot on set pieces. After that, it's about the quality of the player. It's about the takers. We don't have a specialist. Maybe Chilwell is good in the delivery, but after that, we don't have a specialist. If you want to be good at set pieces, we work a lot, then we need good takers. Wolves have good takers, like City or other clubs. It's not down to the work, we work similarly, but the problem is to have good takers." I don't think this is really Pochettino passing the buck. I think maybe he's probably right. If we had like a James Ward-Prowse, he'd be on set pieces and he'd just do really well. So I think, it is probably about technique and natural ability at that point rather than coaching and tactical planning. So I'll probably give him a pass on that, Pochettino. You're the coaching staff in charge of everything. You can have a specialist and you can promote the specialist, or you can have the specialist and not promote the specialist. What? It depends on how you want to sell the idea of working on set pieces. We have a specialist, we have a group of analysts for set pieces, we have the coaching staff, and we work a lot. And then it's about quality. At the moment, we were talking about trying to find a good specialist for next season. At Southampton, Pochettino managed James Ward-Prowse. Jesus, that was a while ago, wasn't it? Who of course already has made an impact at West Ham by assisting 5 times from corners and free kicks, which is the most by any individual player in the league. Look what happened before and after, Pochettino says. What changed? James Ward-Prowse. Yeah, I get it, quality taker. Look, if we want to buy a set piece taker, great. In a way, that's fine, because it can be any position on the pitch. I mean, we're not going to try and buy a striker who's really good at set pieces, even though they do exist. I mean, in a way, we can look at Raheem Sterling. He scored a couple of great free kick goals for us this season. But yeah, maybe he's not the perfect corner taker. And Mason Mount used to do it. To be honest, we haven't had like a real baller in that, in terms of doing that for a long time. So I get it. Although, when we buy in the summer, we want to buy a striker, right? What else do we want to buy? Maybe a left winger? Someone who can take a set piece. It's usually like midfielders and fullbacks though, isn't it? And I don't think, we might buy another left back maybe. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Let me know what you think down below anyway. There's a couple more things I actually want to talk about in this video, so strap yourselves in. We will talk about this financial fair play story in a moment, but I do want to spend a moment and talk about Raheem Sterling. Again, this is a subject that was prompted to me in a Instagram live that I was doing, chatting to you guys, that, Raheem Sterling should be sold and this, that and the other. Now, I am sort of half a Raheem Sterling apologist and half a, yeah, this guy doesn't suit us at all for the moment. Bearing in mind we signed him as like one of the first few signings of the Bowley Clearlake era before Project 2030, you know, as in like young players, long contracts, low wages. This was before that. Of course, mistakes were made. Aubameyang, you could say Koulibaly to a degree. Maybe Cucurella. I think Cucurella could still be useful, but he's a sort of high, you know, transfer fee, high wages player. The same window, of course, Wesley Fofana. Now, I spoke about Wesley Fofana yesterday, 69 million quid, but I think he's a great investment, and he is on the long contract, and I don't think he'll be on silly wages, so I can't really put him in the same bracket. But we signed Raheem Sterling when he was 27 years old, in his prime. Tuchel wanted him, of course. It was Tuchel's priority target, and he's on £300,000 a week, which is by far and away now our highest earner, especially since Romelu Lukaku renegotiated his wage situation at Chelsea. So Sterling is far beyond our highest earner. Now, Raheem Sterling is a great player. He's scored loads of Premier League goals, he's a really good professional, he always trains really hard, he's always available, his injury's really good, his head never drops in a game, and despite being booed or if he gets tackled really hard, he won't lose his head emotionally, he'll keep dribbling, he'll keep trying. And, you know, he can be very useful. There was one season at Man City, was it 2018, where there was a BT Sport interview of Guardiola asking if he could reach Messi levels. Silly now to look back on that, but he's got the capacity to play very well. The fact how Chelsea are lacking seniority in the front line as well, you think, okay, maybe. But the truth is, he is a very frustrating player. I think Sterling plays better when the team plays better, so he's not going to be that sort of a hero ball guy, the sort of main character to save you, even though he thinks he is, I think, sometimes, which is to his detriment. That's the problem. I was very frustrated against Liverpool, of course, and Nkunku scored a great goal, but there was two amazing opportunities for him to be played in by Raheem Sterling, and he was just way too late with his passes, so the synergy doesn't look like it's quite there, certainly for the moment, which makes me think, if I had to choose a starting lineup right now, I obviously have to get Nkunku in, but I'd probably play Jackson up front and Nkunku on the left and Cole Palmer on the right. And it got this conversation going about Raheem Sterling. People saying, oh, you gotta sell Sterling, you gotta sell Sterling. Firstly, like, again, I can see both sides. I'm not necessarily defo selling, but I could see the merit in selling a guy that doesn't fit the, you know, the whole project at the moment. And where'd you sell him, bro? This is what you need to understand, guys. Sterling is 2 years into a contract where he earns £300,000 a week. Okay, £300,000 a week. The guy is a Londoner. He's finally come back to London with his young family and to be around his friends and family. He went to Liverpool as a teenager and was there up north for 10 years between, you know, Liverpool and Manchester. He's finally come home to London. You know, he's at Chelsea, he'll see it as, I'm on a wicked wage, I'm finally come home, I'm training very hard, keeping fit and keeping the manager happy, the manager keeps selecting me, I don't need to go anywhere, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, and we can't sell him. Who's going to be like, okay, we'll take Sterling off you, you know, even if we get like, what, 25, 30 million pounds in terms of his remaining book value, let's just say, because you bought him for 47 million, say his remaining book value is 30 million pounds. There was probably someone out there that would pay 30 million quid for Raheem Sterling. There is, because he's still under 30 and he's just an elite attacker. He's one of Europe's elite attackers. He is. But no one's going to take on those wages. No one. The only example I was speculating on my channel is maybe like a PSG. Say Mbappe goes to Real Madrid in the summer, so they sign an elite striker. Say Osimhen goes to PSG instead of Chelsea or whatever, or they get an elite attacker that's going to replace Mbappe's goals, but he plays down the middle as a striker. You've got this vacant left-hand spot. PSG would pay Raheem Sterling's wages, and he, you know, they know who he's a big name. Sterling, he's won titles, he's, you know, he was in great England teams, and maybe there's a market there. Or Saudi. He won't go to Saudi. He won't go to Paris. He won't go anywhere. And that's no slight on him. Why should he? Why should he? So people need to, like, realise the situation with Raheem Sterling. You can't just, you know, wash a player away from your club. And the guy's not really, you know, apart from doing moments wrong, in terms of his application to his Chelsea career, he's been fine. It's super tricky. Anyway, let's move on. I want to talk about this financial fair play, profit and sustainability story. It was like TalkSport or another YouTube channel, that same financial expert, inverted commas, who started talking about Chelsea and it made headlines. He obviously went on TalkSport before and spoke about how Man City would get relegated if they were found guilty for all their charges, but he just doesn't think they will be found guilty. It turns out he is a Man City fan, self-proclaimed Man City fan, which is, well done for admitting that, but I think it's a really relevant point in his positions. It always will be with football. And he spoke about, and this isn't Chelsea's alleged charges from the self-reporting Chelsea did about the Roman Abramovich era financial issues. This is profit and sustainability. This is financial fair play. He says Chelsea are going to be in trouble. A big time, he says, and they're going to be in, points deduction and much bigger than Everton and all this and stuff. And of course, it made headlines. Chelsea remain confident that they are totally fine. Of course, this January, the recent books came out, Chelsea were totally fine. And he says, come the summer before June the 30th. And he kind of painted it as this, doomsday story that unless Chelsea bring £100 million, which is impossible, that they're going to be screwed. It sounds like Chelsea are comfortable where they are anyway, but can I just say, £100 million, in terms of, if he wants £100 million immediate book value, £31 million Lewis Hall to Newcastle, £35 million ADMITS to Dortmund, which I'm almost certain they will buy. So what we're on at the moment, £66 million. The rest, Armando Broja, he does well. Fulham, someone will buy him for 35 million quid. Done. There's your 100 million, mate. That's a little bit like ifs, buts and maybes. But, Mutson, I think you can put the farm on that release clause being met. Chelsea almost feel like they should have made it higher because of how well he's doing over there. And we're owed that money for Newcastle anyway. And this is without, this guy was doing sensational storylines of, they're going to have to sell Gallagher and sell Reece James for 30 million. Why did he say Reece James for 30 million pounds? Because of his injury record. Because Reece James is our best player. He should be worth 120 million. Anyway, that's without selling Gallagher and Reece James. Chelsea make his, figure, which he's pulled out of his anus, of £100 million, So it's there. And that is, and they are all pure profit assets. Hall, Broja and Mutson. They're all academy pure profit assets to inject in the books immediately. If Chelsea are banking on that, they've put themselves in a vulnerable position, but you have to think that they'd be able to do it. And look, everyone loves Gallagher, but maybe there is a future beyond Conor Gallagher and we sell him for 30, 40 million quid and all our problems are solved in terms of finances and we can buy a striker and build from there. And we've got a big young squad to develop. I think it's just sensationalism and, dramatic headlines, but I wanted to comment on that. Of course, we'll keep a close eye on it, but the true people that report on Chelsea, the aforementioned Matt Law, the Athletic boys, Ornstein, everyone, no one suggested that Chelsea are in serious trouble. So that's where we are. Anyway, let me know what you think, guys. Please do comment down below. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Consider following me on Instagram to join in the live streams at FootballYannick, and I hope to see you back here very soon. Peace.